Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what is the difference between ArrayList, HashSet and HashMap in Java? Let me answer. First of all, this ArrayList, HashSet, HashMap are predefined classes under collections framework in Java. Fine, but they have some differences. Though these three things are a predefined classes under collections framework in Java, they have some differences. So you may get a kind of question in the interview asking for the differences between these three items in general. Okay. So I'll start with ArrayList, guys. There is something known as indexing concept in ArrayList. And in HashSet, there is no indexing concept. Whereas in HashMap, there is no indexing concept. What exactly is this indexing means? Indexing means the first element that you are adding to the array list will be stored at the index 0 of this array list memory. The second element that you add to the array list will be stored at the index 1, third element at the index 2, and so on, guys. Okay. Here, indexing concept is there in array list. But coming to the hash set, there is no indexing concept. And the hash map also, there is no indexing concept. Because of this indexing concept, there are a lot of differences that come between this array list, hash set, and hash map. The second difference that I would like to talk about here is order is preserved. That means the order in which you are adding the elements to the array list is preserved. That means the same order in which they are added to the array list, the same order in which they will be stored into the array list. In the memory also, they will be stored in the same order. Okay. If you add one element to the array list, that will be stored in the first position. Okay. And the second element added to the array list will be there in the second position. Okay. The order will be preserved, guys. The order in which you are adding the elements to the array list, the same order, the elements will be stored in the array list. But coming to the hash set, there is no indexing concept. So random order, guys. Here, random order, guys. Here, there is no random order. In array list, there is no random order. Order is preserved because of the indexing, because the first element will be stored at the index 0, second element at the index 1, third element at the index 2, and so on, right? But here in hash set, there is no indexing concept. That's why the elements will be stored in a random order. The order in which you are adding the elements to the hash set will be different from the order in which they are actually stored in the hash set. The same thing applies for the hash map also. Here also random order, guys. Okay, here also random order. But what is the main difference between ArrayList, HashSet, and HashMap? So when I compare this HashMap with ArrayList and HashSet together, HashMap has one unique difference, that is here elements will be stored in key value pair objects. Key value pair objects. Like name, Arun. Okay, here name is a key, Arun is a value. Like that, key value pair objects will be there. But here only value objects will be there. Value object, no pair. Here pair objects, key value pair object. Here only value object. Here also value object. Here also value object. Here also value object. But here key value pair object. Okay. Key value pair object. Fine. So array list, hash map, set, hash map. In hash map, the main difference between the hash map and when compared to the array list and hash set is that key value pair object is there in the hash map, whereas in array list and hash set, we have value object only. Fine. Cool. Then what next? The next thing is here indexing is there, order is preserved, value object format is there, and here since indexing concept is there, it allows duplicate elements or objects. Allow duplicates. Okay, array list will allow you to add duplicates. That means if you add integer object say 9 multiple times into the same array list, it will store that different objects at different indexes. Because of the indexing concept, the duplicate values or objects can be stored into the array list. One of the duplicate value will be stored at the index 0, another duplicate value will be stored at the index 1, 2, and so on. Okay, so because of the indexing differentiation, duplicates are allowed, will not get any compiler error. Instead, it will store the duplicate objects into this array list. But coming to the hash set, duplicates are ignored. Duplicates are ignored. It will not give you no compiler error here. Okay, you will not get any error here in the hash set, but it will not accept. That means it will simply ignore. If you enter multiple duplicate objects into this hash set, if you try to add that to the hash set, what happens? Out of the duplicate objects, only one will be considered. Remaining all duplicates will be ignored. They will not be added to the memory, or they will not be stored into the hash set. There will not be any compiler error. What about here? What about the duplicates here? Coming to the duplicates, allowed or duplicates allowed or not? Duplicates allowed is a question. Here the answer is both yes and no, guys. Okay, both yes and no. Both yes and no. Why I'm saying yes and why I'm saying no is, you see, duplicates are, first I'll say no, guys. Okay, I'll explain about no. First I'll say why it is no, then I'll explain why it is yes. A mixed answer will be there here, guys. A mixed answer will be there. I'm not able to move it here somehow. Yeah, now it moved. Fine. First I'm saying no. Here, you already know in the hash map this is not a single value object, it is a key value object. Coming to the key object, it is no. Key objects cannot be duplicated. For example, name Arun, name Varun if you give. That name key cannot be duplicated. Only one will be considered, remaining will be ignored. Okay. The key, duplicate keys will be ignored. Okay, duplicate keys will be ignored, guys. Why? Because why duplicate keys will be ignored, guys? Why duplicate keys will be ignored? Because the keys need to be unique, guys. Okay, the duplicates are not allowed. Okay, so here duplicates should be unique. You cannot have multiple keys with the same name, like name is equal to Arun, name is equal to Varun, name is equal to Tarun, like that. Okay, if you give that duplicate keys, they will be ignored, guys. You will not, no compiler error. No compiler error will come saying that you are adding some duplicate keys to this particular hash map. Such kind of error you will not get. But what will happen is latest value of duplicate key will be considered. Latest value assigned to the duplicate key will be considered. For example, if I add something like name is equal to Arun, name is equal to Varun, name is equal to Tarun kind of key value paste, the final one is name is equal to Tarun will be considered, name is equal to Arun, Varun will be ignored. The duplicate initial duplicates will be ignored and it will take the latest one. Why I'm saying yes for duplicates allowed means here value object. For the value object, it is yes, guys. You see, there can be different keys. For example, place is one key, location is another key. If I give place as Hyderabad and location as Hyderabad, here values are duplicated, but it's allowed because they are differentiated with the keys. So values can be duplicated. The answer is yes for value object of this hash map. For key object, the answer is no. For value object, the answer is yes. Okay. Duplicate values can be assigned to different keys. Keys. Okay. Hence, duplicate values are allowed. Value objects are allowed. Okay. So that's the thing, guys. Okay. Because place is equal to Hyderabad, location is equal to Hyderabad. Here, place is the key. Hyderabad is same. Okay. Your location is the key and Hyderabad is same. But it is accepted by hash map because the keys are different. So like the indexing is differentiating the duplicate values. Here keys are differentiating the duplicate values. Okay. So in hash map, duplicate values are allowed, but the duplicate keys are not allowed. They are ignored. Instead, you will not get any compiler error, but latest value of the duplicate key will be considered. Okay. So far, these are the differences we had. And coming to this array list, few more differences I will cover here. Here, because of the indexing concept, okay, because of the indexing concept, we have a method known as get. Add and get methods are there. Add and get methods are there. Okay. Here, get of index method. There's a method like get of index method. Okay. So because indexing concept is there, this get of index method is there. And along with the get of index, we have add method also. But here coming to the hash set, we don't have this both the methods. Only add method is there. Only add method is there. No get method. No get method. Okay. No get method. Here get method is not there, guys. Only add method is there. Then coming to this, no get of index method. Okay. No get of index method. Fine. Now coming to this one, what about this hash map? In the hash map, we don't have add method. Instead, we have put method. In order to add the elements to the hash map, we should not be using the add method, which is same for ArrayList and hash set for adding the elements to the ArrayList or hash set. But coming to the hash map, we have to use put method. We have to use put method. Okay, for adding instead of add method. And what about get method? Here we have get method, but it's not the same get method. Get of key method is there. Okay. Here you see get of index is there, here get of key is there. Here get method itself is not there. Okay, no get of index method or no get of key methods. Okay, key method. But here get of key is there, here get of index is there, here add is there, here put is there. Okay, like there's some differences, guys. What else? What else we have in the array list? Because of this indexing concept, normal for loop, normal normal for loop is allowed along with for each and iterator stuff. Iterator for iterating through the elements. Okay. But coming to hash set, here there is no indexing concept. Normal for loop is not allowed. Cannot be used. We cannot use, cannot be used. We cannot use normal for loop, guys. Instead, for each loop, and the other one is, iterator we can use for iterating. We can use for each loop and iterator, but we cannot use normal for loop. Here also, we cannot use normal for loop, cannot be used because here also indexing concept is not there. Hence, normal, I mean, for each loop and iterator can be used. We cannot use other stuff. Okay. Yeah. So these are the differences, guys. These are the high level differences of the array list, hash set, hash map. Okay, these are the different differences we have between the array list, hash set, and hash map. Fine. So in array list we have indexing. Because of the indexing, all these things are possible. Okay, and we have the different methods and all that I have explained here. Anyhow, let me practically demonstrate this for you. So I'll go here and create a new class. Right click new class I'll create. I'll just name this class as class 19. Okay, some random name with main method. So inside this class, first I'm going to create an array list. Array list, a list is equal to new array list like this. And say control shift O, it will import the array list from java.util package and here provide less than greater than symbol, let's say integer. Okay. Now let's try to add the elements to this array list. Here I told you, right, indexing concept is there and we have to use a method known as add method. Okay. Indexing concept is there. We have to use a method add method for adding the elements to the array list. So a list object reference a list dot add of I'll say 9. Okay. Again, I'll add a list dot add of again one more 9 object. Okay. Integer object that is a list dot add of 5. A list dot add of 9. Then a list dot add of again 9. A list dot add of then 0. Then a list dot add of 6. A list dot add of 123. 122 otherwise. Okay. Then a list dot add of 99. Then a list dot add of 279. Okay. Some different elements I am adding, guys. Okay. Different elements I am adding and all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 elements I have added, guys. Okay. 10 elements I have added here. So what I'll do here is, so here, this element will be stored at the index 0. This element will be stored at the index 1. Here indexing concept is there with array list. Here this element will be stored at the index 2. This element at the index 3. This element at the index 4. This element at the index 5. This element at the index 6. This element at the index 7. This element at the index 8. This element at the index 9. Like this. 0 to 9 indexing, it will be there. Now if I print it out, if I print out this array list, what will be happening? The next difference here, indexing concept is there, but in HashSet we don't have indexing concept. I'll also first I'll do one thing. I have added the elements, right? In HashSet also I'll try to add the elements. HashSet set is equal to new HashSet. Control Shift O, it will import this HashSet, and here provide integer, let's say, and add the same elements. Add the same elements here. Whatever the elements that I have added to the Okay, whatever the elements I have added to the array list, I would like to add it here. Okay. So then array list integer array list is equal new array list has set integer has set is equal new has set, and here I'll just write down here indexing concept is not there, guys. If I say set dot add, okay, set add set dot add set dot add, here indexing concept won't be there for the hash set. Okay, indexing concept won't be there for the hash set. I'll just remove the indexing here. There's no indexing concept in hash set, guys. Indexing concept is only there for the array list, but for the hash set, indexing concept is not there. Okay, I'm just removing the indexing part here as a comments, whatever the indexing I have written, that won't be applicable for the hash set. That's the first difference. What about the hash map? Is the indexing concept there? Here hash map also indexing concept is not there. I'll just try to create a hash map. Hash map HMap is equal to new hash map. Then Control Shift O. Then here key value, I'll say string, comma, object I will say. And then here put less than greater than symbol. That's it. Now after that, here I'll write down hmap dot. Here add method won't be there. I told you rather difference. I told you right. In array list we have the add method to add the elements to the array list. In hash set we have the add method to add the elements to the hash set. But in hash set we don't have the add method. Instead we have the put method. We have the put method. So I have to use, instead of add I have to use put method. Dot put I have to use. And you have to provide key value pair objects. Okay. And one more difference I told you, right? In array list we have value object only. Only one type of value object you have to store. 9 object, 9 value object, 5 value object, 6 value object, like that. Okay. Here also asset also 9 value object. All these are value objects. But here in hash map we have to provide key value pair objects. Key is in string format. For example, I'll just give the key as name. Okay. And here I'll give the value object as Arun. Okay. Then I'll say hmap dot put of let's say experience. Experience is like, let's say I'll give 17 years of experience. Put a semicolon here. Hmap dot put of then I'll say location. Location I'll give it as Hyderabad. Okay, these three values, three key value pair objects I have given. Here we have used put method, guys. Okay, here we have used put method. Fine, guys. Here we got the put method. Fine. Okay. Next thing is here we have this array list. Here we have the hash set, and here we have the hash map. And array list has indexing concept. Hash map doesn't have the indexing concept, and hash set doesn't have the indexing concept. Hash map doesn't have the indexing concept. And here, in order to add the elements to the array list, we have to use add method. In order to add the elements to the hash set, we have to use add method. And in order to add the elements to the hash map, we have to use put method. Okay, we have to use put method. Those are the differences I told you so far. The next thing is that since indexing is there, order is preserved here. Okay, in array list, order is preserved, but in case of hash set, random order, hash map also will store the elements in random order. Okay, so how can I find out whether these elements that are added in a particular order to the array list are stored in as per the preserved order, in the order in which they are added to the array list, the same way they will be stored in the array list. How can I confirm that? I have to print it out. Okay, I'll print the array list here. I'll just put a line here just for separation point of view. And here also, I'll try to print the hash set. Here what happens? The order in which I have added the elements to the hash set will differ from the order in which they are actually stored in the hash set. Okay. So I'll try to print out the okay. So I'll print out this hash set. And then I'll just use a line here. Just for separation purpose, guys. Okay. Now I would like to also print hash map here. And here I would like to print the hash map. There's no need of any line. Run the code and see that array list elements will be stored in the same order in which they are added to the array list. And whereas hash set, some errors are there. So let me close and open this file. Sometimes some temporary glitches come. So yeah, here less than greater than symbol is missing. And apart from that, here double quotes, we have to put this line under. We have to put this line under the double quotes, and here also we have to put the line under the double quotes. Put a semicolon. Done. Underscore underscore. Run the code. Right click. Run as Java application. Run the code. You see, observe that we got 99599. The same order. You see, 99599 06 122 99 279. Okay. The second one you see, it's not in the same order. 9 is there here. It's added initially, but it's there. 0 is added here, but came here. 99 is added here, but it's a random order. You see, it's neither ascending nor descending, but it's a random order. So the next thing is third one, hash map also. You see, it's not the same order. First name was there, but here name is coming in the second position. Experience was in second, it came in the first position, and location was last it came. So these two are random orders, whereas this is the preserved order, same order in which you are adding the elements. So that proves that in array list, the order in which you have added the elements to the array list will be stored in the same order, guys. Okay. Now coming to the value object, already have seen that here only value objects can be stored. Only one value object can be stored. Here also HashSet also only one value object can be stored. But in coming to the hash map, key value pair objects can be stored into the hash map. Okay, key value pair objects can be stored into the hash map. The third difference is done. Now array list will allow duplicates. If you can see here in the output, when I printed this array list, guys, if you see in the output, no matter how many times I gave 9 here, 99, 599, 06, 122, 99, 279, no matter how many times 9 I gave, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But here, you see what's happening here? The first 9 is stored at the index 0, second 9 at the index 1. Because of the indexing concept, duplicates are allowed. You can add as many number of duplicates as you want. But coming to the hash set, duplicates will not be allowed, guys. Duplicates are not allowed in hash set. You see here, I'm trying to add 9, the same number of times that I have added to the array list. You see 9999. But here only 19 is there. Only unique one-time values are coming. If duplicates are there, it is ignoring that duplicates. Only out of 4 nines, only 1 9 has been considered. That proves that duplicates are ignored. Okay. But what about this hash map? I told you, right, in the hash map, keys duplicates cannot be allowed. That means key duplicates will be ignored, whereas value duplicates will be accepted because keys will be different. So how can I prove you that is? For example, here I'll write down here hmap dot put off. Again, I'll say name. I'm duplicating the key here. You see, name is already there here. I'm duplicating it here, and I'll give a different name. Let's say Varun. Okay. And here hmap dot put off. I'll say place. I'll create a new key, and the value I'll duplicate. This value, Hyderabad value, I'll duplicate here. There's no problem with the duplicate values. It will accept, but duplicate keys, it will not accept. Duplicate values can be accepted. That's the reason I told you, right? Value objects can be duplicated, but key objects cannot be duplicated. If you try to duplicate the key objects, the latest value will be considered here. Name Varun means only name Varun will be considered. Old value name Arun will not be considered. It will be ignored. Okay. Only duplicate keys are not allowed. Duplicate values are allowed. Here you see location and place. The keys are different, but values are same. So values can be duplicated, but keys cannot be duplicated. Let's run this and see that. Here in hash set, duplicates are not allowed. They are ignored. Compiler error won't come, but only one of the duplicate values will be considered. Here, coming to the hash map, duplicate keys will be ignored. Only one key out of the duplicate keys will be considered. For example, name is equal to Varun is considered. Name is equal to Arun is nowhere else. But place is equal to Hyderabad, location is equal to Hyderabad is considered because value can be duplicated for different keys. Okay, but name, the key cannot be duplicated. Okay, that proves duplicates. Then the next thing is, already I told you, right, here we have the add method, here we have the add method, but here we have the put method. But coming to the next method, get method, in array list, we have the get method. Okay, if you want to retrieve the elements, okay, if you want to retrieve the elements like system.out.println, system.out.println, sorry, not here, array list I'm going to show you. This is a hash set. I'll go to the array list. In array list, if I have to duplicate the elements, sorry, if I want to retrieve the elements, I have a command known as get of index command. So I say system.out.println, alist.get of, I'll give something like, 7. What will happen? At the index 7, which value object is there? 122. That will be retrieved. Get of index method is there for retrieving the value object that is stored in the array list at that particular provided index. Now 122 should be printed, guys. In the output, 122 should be printed. If that works fine, you see 122 got printed. What about the hash set? Do we have that kind of get of index method? No. In HashSet, we don't have any no get method at all. No get method. Either get off method or get off key index or get off key method is not there. Okay. So coming to the HashSet, there is no get index or no get off key method. Okay. Only add method is there in HashSet. Here add method is there along with the get off index is there, which is not there in the HashSet. Okay. That's another difference. And coming to the hash map. And coming to the hash map, guys. Coming to the hash map, we have put method. I told you for adding the element, we will not use add method. We have put method instead. And along with that, we have get method is there, but this is not same get method. Here get of index is there. Here get of key is there. Okay. So how can I use that get of key is, for example, system.out.println hmap dot get method. You can use it, but it's not get of index. It's get of key. You have to provide the key name. For example, if I provide the key name as experience. Okay. Get of key of experience. It will retrieve 17 here. Okay. Whatever the value that is assigned to that key will be retrieved and printed. 17 will be printed in the output, guys. You see, it's not get of index, it's get of key. But here get of index will be there in the array list. But as said, no get method. Either get of index is not there, nor get of key is not there. Okay. Both the things are not there in the asset. So the methods are fine. And coming to the array list, because of the indexing concept, for loop is allowed, guys. Okay. Normal for loop is allowed. We can use normal for loop because we have the indexing concept. So how can I use the normal for loop with array list? Here I can write down, guys. Okay. Here I can write down. I'll remove all this stuff and write down. For int I is equal to 0, I less than the size of this array list, that is a list dot size, a list dot size, then I plus plus. And here I'll print out system.out.println a list dot get of I. Like this, if I write the logic, I can use a normal for loop to print all the elements of the array list. Okay, normal for loop can be used because of the indexing concept, indexing 0 to index less than the size of the array list. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I less than 10 means up to 9. That means 0 to 9. Starts with 0 till less than 10 means 9. Till the 10 iterations, it will go from 0 to 9 and it will print a list dot get of 0 means it will print 9. A list dot get of 1 means it will get 9. A list dot get of 2 means it will get 5 and so on. Okay. So run the code. You see, 9959906122299 Okay, here 17 is coming. Here 17 is coming. 17 is coming for this. You are trying to get the experience, right? That's the reason you are getting 17. But here, whatever the values you got, you see, with the for loop, normal for loop. Can you use a normal for loop with the HashSet or HashMap? No, you cannot use a normal for loop, guys. Why? Because indexing concept is not there. You cannot write for int I is equal to 0. Here, there is no indexing concept. You have to use you have to use for each loop, guys. Okay. In this case, normal for loop cannot be used. You have to use for each loop. For each loop can also be used with arrays. I mean, for each loop can also be used with ArrayList, HashMap, and HashSet. All the three. But for loop can only be used with arrays only because ArrayList only because of the indexing concept. Okay. But for each loop can be used here instead of normal for loop, I can use for each loop. For each and every element in this array list is integer type, integer I colon array list name. Now print it out. Okay, here instead of normal for loop, I can use for each loop with the array list. I'll print I. Okay, run the code. All the elements will be printed. Okay, there is a mistake somewhere. Let me close and open and see what is the mistake. Where is a mistake? Yeah. Okay. I just have to remove this code. Okay. Fine. Normal for loop and for each loop and iterator can be used with ArrayList. Okay. So I can just print it out. Right click run as Java application and you see normal for loop is used. For each loop can be used. Same output. The same for each loop can be used with the asset also, guys. Same for each loop can also be used with the asset. That is for integer, let's say a or h, otherwise h colon h set. H set. I'll print out the h here. Okay. Now run the code and you will see that all the elements of the asset will be printed in some random order. That's okay. But duplicate values will not be there and they will be printed in some random order. Okay. So we can use for each loop with the asset. What about can we use a for each loop with the hash map? Yes, we can use a for each loop with the hash map also. So how to do that? For that, I have to write like this for each loop. So I have to write in a different way, guys. For here, each and every key is of which type? String type. So I'll write string. Okay, string k, and here HashMap dot. There's something like key set. There's some method like key set. It will return set of strings, and here I'll print k, which is a key. It will retrieve all the keys, and for each and every key, I have to get the value. I have to use a get of key method. Plus get of k. Get of k means that is HashMap dot get of k. Okay, run the code and observe that all the key value pairs will be printed in this hash map. Using all the key value pairs got printed. You can use a for each loop like this with the hash map also. Similarly, there is one more loop known as iterator loop, guys. Iterator. Okay, that also you can use with ArrayList, HashSet, and HashMap. All the three things. Okay. Okay, fine. So that's all, guys. We can also use iterator here for each loop. Iterator with all the three things, but normal for loop can only be used with ArrayList. Normal for loop cannot be used with HashSet or HashMap. You can try out the iterator, guys. How to use the iterator, you already know, right? It's very simple. So here, a list dot iterator, right, like this, and it will return you iterator interface, ITR, and here hold the mouse and say create import this from java.util package. Here give the type, that is integer type. Then here write down while itr dot has next and here print out system.out.println itr dot next. This will iterate through all the elements of the array list and they will be printed in the output. You see, they got printed as it is. Okay. Similarly, you can use this iterator with HashSet also. Instead of for each loop, you can use iterator here. I'll say itr2, and here I'll say HashSet dot iterator, and here I'll say itr2 dot has next, itr2 dot next. Now run the code. It will iterate to the HashSet also. It will iterate through the HashSet also. You see. Now what about the iterator using the hash map? Instead of normal for each loop, we can use the iterate with the hash map also. Can we use iterator with HashMap? HashMap dot iterator won't be used because you see the problem here is HashMap belong to the map interface. Map interface doesn't have the iterator method. Okay, so there is a small mistake here. Iterator cannot be used here. Okay, that's a mistake. Okay, cannot be used here. HashMap doesn't have iterator method. Iterator is available for ArrayList and HashSet, but iterator cannot be used with HashMap because HashSet and ArrayList belong to one interface, grandparent interface known as collection interface, which has a predefined method known as iterator method, because of which iterator can be worked with ArrayList and HashSet, but cannot be worked with HashMap. Okay, only for each loop can be allowed with HashMap. Iterator is not allowed. So with practical demonstration, I've answered all these things for you with detailed explanation and all. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.